On this episode, we're going to talk about how to get your kid to stop lying. Now, let's talk about we're out here trying to throat punch the youth mental health crisis. So, why are we talking about lying? Well, we don't want our youth, our kids, to learn this behavior of lying all of the time because no one likes liars. And they can't build trust. And so if your child's growing up and they're lying all of the time, no one wants to be their friends, which then is going to lead to anxiety and depression and loneliness and increase their likelihood of suicide. Those are all things we don't want for your kid. So that's why we want to nip lying in the butt as early on as we possibly can. So what we're going to need you to do is what's called the lying protocol. And there's multiple steps to the lying protocol. The first step is you're going to sit down with your child during a neutral time, so meaning a time that they have not lied recently, and you guys are going to have a conversation. You're going to define what lying is. Lying is when you tell someone to try to deceive someone, or you're going to give false ideas, or so you're going to say something that's not true. You're also going to talk about the different levels of lying. There's white lies, there's serious lies, and you're going to have those conversations and give examples for each one. And then you're going to talk about the importance of not lying. Why don't we want to lie? Well, because we can't build trust. And if we can't build trust, which is fundamental for all relationships, well, then you're not going to be able to have any kind of autonomy and you're not going to get privileges because I can't trust you as a parent, which is going to reduce your freedom. And so all of these things build on your ability to trust. And therefore, lying is super important. I can't tell you the number of couples that I've worked with where someone lies and then the whole relationship goes down because there's no trust. And if you don't have trust, the relationship is done. So that's the importance of not lying. You're going to also talk about times when lying is okay. So if you're trying to protect someone, this person, the abusive kind of dysfunctional families where, you see one kid lie to protect the other kid. Like there are some times where lying is okay, but you really want to look and kind of get into the nitty gritties of those. Like, hey, you don't like Aunt Susie's gift. That's another time to lie. And it's those little white lies, but we want to make sure that we're differentiating when it is okay to lie and when it is not okay to lie. And you may want to consider getting this in writing. So again, you want to sit down with them during a neutral time. You want to define what lying is, the different levels of lying, why it's important not to lie, when it's okay to lie, and then maybe get it into writing. Then what you're going to do is you're going to increase monitoring. So this is the second step of the lying protocol. So you're going to be all over the child. You're going to be asking them lots of questions, and you're going to be trying to see if they lie. And you're also going to bring in other people so that everyone is on the same page that, hey, we are trying to get this child to stop lying and we all need to be on board and everyone needs to be on the same page and we all need to be doing the same things because we don't want to raise a liar for all the reasons that we've already talked about. Then the third step of the lying protocol is when the child is caught in a lie, first thing is do not interrogate. Don't ask the child, why did you lie? Why did you lie? It's just going to lead to more lying and it's just going to get you really upset. So don't get into it. We are not interrogating them. We've caught them in a lie. We're going to move on to the next step. We are not getting into no he said, she said, because again, this is just asking them to lie to us again, which again, we're trying to stop this behavior. So we're not interrogating. I know that's going to be super hard for lots of parents. And the second step is we are not getting in he said, she said. Nope, you lied and now you are getting a consequence. That's it. But we are not going to shame them. We're not going to be like, why are you such a liar? No, We do not want to tell them that they are a liar. We do not want it to be characteristics. We don't want to say like it's a character trait or anything like that. We want to focus on it being a behavior. You lied, here's your consequence. Do not call them a liar. Do not shame them in any way. Again, we're not getting into like these long, drawn out emotional things. Next step is you're going to administer the consequence in an emotionally neutral manner. Let me repeat that. Emotionally neutral manner. Again, you are not doing this out of anger. You are not crying and being, why did you lie to me? No, emotionally neutral manner. Don't interrogate. No he said, she said, no shaming, and you're to give them a consequence. You're going to give them a small to medium consequence for what they lied about, and then you're going to give them a larger consequence for lying. Let me give you an example of this. About a year or two ago, my youngest was having some issues with having pooping accidents, and then instead of telling us about it, she would like hide her underwear, her dirty underwear, like places. And then the one time I went into our guest bedroom, I was like, why does it smell like poop in here? Like, and I'm looking all around and I can't find anything. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized a few weeks later, that I like looked behind the shower curtain and yeah, there was like 6 or so like dirty drawers there, and that's why it smelled. And so we got into the thing of like, hey, when you have an accident, come tell us. You'll get a small consequence for having an accident, which is just you have to clean up yourself. That's the consequence. Talk about logical, natural consequences. And then the larger consequence for lying, for hiding their dirty drawers, was that she was going to miss out on the next fun activity. Want to know how many times this happened that she had to have that larger consequence? Once. Or once she missed out on something fun. I think we went to like an art fair or something like that. She missed out on it and she's never done it before. She comes up to me just the other day. She had an accident and she's like, I peed in my pants. And I'm like, okay, let's go on. She had to she had to clean herself, and that was it. So you're going to give a consequence, a small to medium consequence for what they lied about, but you're going to give them a larger consequence for them actually lying. But you're going to establish all of that during that meeting that you had earlier. You're going to give it to them because you want to reveal consequences in advance. Now, there's going to be times where they maybe acted inappropriate, so but they were honest about it. So the behavior was inappropriate, but they were honest. They told you about it. So the thing that comes to mind is like teenagers when they go out drinking, and it's like, well, they're not really supposed to drink, but they're calling you and telling you that they're drinking. So you're not going to give them a consequence for drinking, because they came and they were honest with you and they didn't try to hide it. And then you're going to reinforce absence of lying. So you're going to praise them, you're going to show appreciation, maybe you give them some rewards for so many days of not lying, those kind of things. So again, let's recap. You are going to find a neutral time to have conversations, define lying, discuss times, different levels, importance of not lying, times that it's okay to lie. You're going to increase monitoring. When they're caught, you're not going to interrogate. You're not going to shame. You're not going to get into he said, she said. You're going to administer the consequence in an emotionally neutral way. And then you're going to reinforce absence of lying. That's what we're going to do. That's the lying protocol. That's how we're going to get our youth to stop lying and be more truthful and be more trustworthy. Because when we can nip this in the butt, then we're going to have kids that are honest, and they're going to have stronger relationships, and they're going to be less depressed and less anxious. And so we have to front load parenting now. We have to put in the work now for the rewards later on down the road when our child is in good, healthy relationships. And by doing this, by getting rid of lying, by using the lying protocol, you and I are throat punching this youth mental health crisis.